Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, the Brumbies at home taking on the Highlanders. Now, just very recently, we have seen the Hurricanes take the Highlanders' number 6 spot, which does mean, of course, with an away win here, they would be able to take it back. In the Brumbies starting lineup, it will be Slipper, Pollard, and Alaratoa Valetini in front of a home crowd for the first time in quite some time. And then the back three of Muirhead, Toole, and Tom Wright, all three men to keep an eye on. Then for the Highlanders, away from home, Tava Tavanawai and Thomas Umaga Jensen make up the midfield. Tangitau, Nareki, and Gilbert are the back three. And then in terms of that forward pack, Soani Vakina, the rolling maul of the Highlanders, perhaps something that they will look to throughout this matchup. But we are underway for this contest, ladies and gents, and it's going to be nicely claimed at the back for the Highlanders. I do think that this one could be a relatively high-scoring contest. The Brumbies have scored a lot of tries throughout their first games. The Highlanders, they've had a bit of a 50-50 kind of season just recently. That doesn't mean they can't turn it around. We have got there. Can someone please tell me who won the Waratahs game? Hurricanes won 50 points to 12. Or did they get one more try at the end? 57-12 it might have been in the end. But either way, a really big win for the side. But we have got there straight into it, says Glenn Woods, and Brumbies 24 points to 21. We've already got a TMO decision within the first 34 seconds of this matchup, but a head-on-head. Up the Landers, says Gus. And they're right. So Thomas Umaga Jensen was the man who initially took it, and then, yeah, met head-on-head. It's actually not Muirhead, it's Corey Toole. Came flying in there. This might be something more than just a penalty, even though we're only seconds into this contest. Oh, yeah, my bad. Can he got the hat trick? Says Glenn there. Right, 11's coming from a long way away. Fastest yellow card of the season. It's got to be right up there. And the crowd are not happy about it. 34 seconds in, and now the Brumbies are already down a man. Like they've said, just a bit of a clumsy challenge from Corey Toole. Way too upright in his tackle on Thomas Umaga Jensen. But now they have 8 minutes to decide whether or not it is worthy of a red. If it is, that's going to be a massive shame for Corey Toole, and probably one of the shortest appearances in Super Rugby we have seen historically. Now line out throw for Soane Vakina, nicely claimed by the Highlanders. Tavatava Nawai will be lurking around that midfield. Couple big bump offs from Lasanga. Rory Scott looking for the turnover and does manage to get the penalty. That's the second Umaga Jensen tonight. Says Glenn Woods, it certainly is. And 34 seconds straight my head, says JD. Yeah, very quick one. Now, like they've said, there is a bit of a gap out there on the wing where Corey Toole was. The Brumbies have a decision to make. Do they want to go risky here? They do. They're going to kick this one towards the touchline, which is a bold call at this point of the match, but it's something that we've seen quite a few Australian sides adapting to in recent times, unless Chiefs play in plus baseball season. See you then. See High Life. It's a good kick downfield from Nolalesio. Now Billy Pollard. We'll go like this. We'll check the odds. I mentioned our Highlanders came in as big underdogs, but with that yellow card of Corey Toole, it does seem like it has changed it. Now Filiwahi still inside of the 22, and it is going to be another penalty advantage, this time in favour of the Brumbies. Let's go the Landers. Tavatava Nawai. Says Blues, Nate. Nice attack and run from Alan Alaratoa. Now Valetini. Goddard. Back across to the right-hand side. Nolalesio. Off to Billy Pollard again. Ball retention at the moment from the Brumbies. And let's go the Landers. Oh, Eketau, nice pass to James Slipper, just pops it in behind the Brumbies player, but Filiwai is there to be able to fire it back in. And they'll go back for another penalty. Right, this one is a much more kickable 3 than the last one, but do they decide to go for it? Or do you once again go risky and go for either the scrum, or maybe you could look at just kicking that one into touch. See how it goes again. Right, I think they just said that number 12 and 13, both men actually offside in that scenario. The Brumbies are down to 14 at the moment. So, sounds like they are going to go for the early 3 points. I'm going to have a guess at the final score. What's the worst that can happen? Brumbies 27, Landers 29. Also, you go on the away win. Where they are not showing the men's pools in the Hong Kong Sevens. Says no, mum. If it makes you feel slightly better, they also don't have the men's lineups either. So I think there's some sort of little bit that's broken for it. But hopefully they have it fixed by tomorrow. Is it raining? It's been wet in Sydney. Says Glenn Woods. It doesn't look like it's raining, but it also looks like it would be quite slippery underfoot at the moment. Brumbies yellow card. Yep, Corey Toole got it in 34 seconds, which has to be one of the quickest yellow cards we have seen. But you're definitely not what you are after the early stages, although it hasn't cost them yet. We're seeing them now have an opportunity to line up the 3 points. And Nolalicio does get it over, so they will make the score now 3-0 in favour of the Brumbies. Up to Landers. Says Commander there. Oh. Okay, the yellow card will remain as a yellow card. They feel there was enough mitigation, which will mean that Corey Toole, after another 6.5 minutes, will get to make his way back out onto the field. In fact, there might be 5.5 minutes left. It's kicked out on the full by the Highlanders, not the start. The reset that they would have been after is Chase Fiaki on the wing. He's talking about Che Fiaki tomorrow up against up against Moana Pacifica, I believe he is. But I could be wrong. Yeah, that one just going out. Caleb Tangitau, he was thinking about jumping for it, but just never really had the chance. Tane Robinson gave it a fair amount. Now scrum on the halfway line. 923 kgs the pack weight of the Highlanders compared to the 898 of the Brumbies. So they got a bit of an advantage in that regard. Our ball is going to be fed in by the Brumbies. I'm pretty tired tonight, can you tell? Yeah, I wasn't too sure who you were talking about for a start, but also autocorrect, I think, is hurting you tonight. Now, nicely claimed by the Brumbies on the halfway line. Nolalicio can't quite sneak through. Good call by the match officials. Remain yellow, says JD. Yeah, for that to be a red this early on in the game would have really ruined the contest a little bit. Even though it's only a 20-minute red card, so, like, it's not the end of the world. But still, you don't really want that early on. Going to be kicked downfield. Tane Robertson has a bit of a fumble of the ball. So once again, it's going to be on the side of the Brumbies. Up to Landers, says Ben Rocks there. A Katau, big shot on him. Driven backwards by Lasanga, who's already enforced quite a bit of physicality in the early stages of the match. Billy Pollard. Tackle well again. Harrison Goddard is playing as the 9 in this contest. Nice step from Muirhead. I saw the Brumbies injury list earlier on, and I think it's about 10 players that they are away from at the moment due to different extents of injury. Nice kick from Goddard, gets it over the head of the cover defence from the Landers. And now they'll be back inside of their 22. They've got a whole heap of emojis from Ben Rocks there too. Now another 4 minutes remaining of that Brumbies yellow card. I feel like it's going to definitely motivate Corey Toole when he makes his way back out onto the park. Nicely claimed by Mitchell Dunshea. 20 metres out from the line. Rolling this one back is Nathan Hasty. And it doesn't look like it's going to find touch. Instead, it's nicely claimed by Andy Muirhead. Got the offload away to Noel Alessio. Now Goddard. Cross to Tom Hooper. That was a heavy shot in the middle of the field. Now off to the right. Goddard. On back across to the left again here. Now Noel Alessio. Across to Valentini. Pumping the legs. Back to the right. Just moving this one quite nicely at the moment for the Brumbies, but they're not really going anywhere. In fact, they've probably lost a couple metres. Now Goddard, bit of a slip there, falling over the defender. Whilst on the ground, Valentini, standing start. Just seems like they don't really know what their next move is here, and the penalty goes the way of the Highlanders. So honestly, that was either going to happen or they were going to somehow get themselves the penalty in there. It goes against them. And like they've just said, a little bit of confusion for the Brumbies, not really aware of what their next move was going to be. Instead, just kind of, honestly, just behaving. They didn't go crazy. They just, make a couple metres here and there, lose a couple metres. This is how they're ever going to love the Super Rugby schedule, as I can watch this in the morning and the URC in the evening. Says Nave, and we are going to be covering the URC games tomorrow as well. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing a rolling maul count, being the Brumbies and all. Yeah, there might be a few of them throughout this matchup. For now, though, we might see the Highlanders go for that rolling maul instead. Nicely claimed by the Landers. Now Withy goes across to Timothy Tavatanawai. Hasty, cross to Mitchell Dunshay. 30 metres out. The Highlanders, they seem to be making more metres when they have the ball in hand. Also, they will want to target that winger, Corey Tall. Nice run from Yonanareke. Offloads to Tangi Tau, and just like that, the Highlanders score. And that is a brutal one if you are the Brumbies. You've just been on attack for quite a bit of time, up against a side that have one more man than you as well. You've hung in there, you've done what you've had to, and then they get one good attack inside of the 22, and it completely changes the game. But nice work from Sam Gilbert. Just poor defence from Andy Muirhead out on the wing. Noel Alessio also missing the tackle there. And boom shakalaka, says Glenn Woods. They've said about 15 metres out. Just went wrong for the Brumbies. Sam Gilbert now does kick this one. It hits the post and bounces back out. So we'll make the score now 5 points to 3. And Muirhead useless in defence, says David. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Brilliant on attack, Andy Muirhead. But just, not really there for that move. But now, Tangi Tau, he's sitting 1 try tonight, 5 for the season. And we're only up to about round 7, so tells you he's going to have a lot of tries on the board by the end. Now, Thomas Umunga Jensen, sitting 22 metres out from his own line. We have there, wish I could see that. We need him in the ABs, in my honest opinion, says Glenn Woods. And that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Highlanders, just inside of their 22. We will check now with the fact that the Highlanders were favourites, or not favourites, sorry, they were underdogs. See whether or not that has changed. That kick has not found touch from Robinson. And yeah, currently slight favourites, the Highlanders, even though it's 5 points to 3. Now, George has also messaged me. I mentioned here that it is his birthday in about 2 hours' time. He's trying to organise some plans tomorrow 13 minutes in. Goddard now rolling this one back. And now knocked forward by Feluai. Taken by Robinson, 22 metres out from the line. Jonanareki. Also got that first initial break that did start the move for the Highlanders. Seulama'u getting to start at 3. Greens from Arania Hamish says, good, hard welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. If you're excited for all of the rugby we have got on this weekend. We've got URC, Super Rugby, the Sevens is also taking place. The Hong Kong Sevens, that is. It's going to be South Africa versus Australia a little bit later on tonight that we will be doing on the channel too. We have got Ellie in the chat. It said, hey, welcome in. 2 minutes. In fact, no, sorry. 2 points. The difference between these two sides. Nicely taken by Tane Robertson. And another penalty. Happy birthday for tomorrow. George, don't get too drunk. Disclaimer, I have no idea if he drinks. Says, no, mum, he does. So that's probably sound advice. Isaiah Roosters got hammered by the Titans. Says Drape. Now the Brumbies actually getting that penalty for Fabian Holland being offside. Now Noel Alicio. So far 6 missed tackles from the Brumbies. A little bit higher up than they would like. But I do think that the Brumbies, they're rolling more, even with the absence of Lachlan Lonergan due to his injury. I think still a very decent option. Billy Pollard, he scored his fair share of tries too. Now, nice run forward from Len Ikitau. He'll be 22 metres out. He almost got caught a little bit higher. It's not a party unless you're legless and wake up in your best mate's bed. Says TH. Oh, I can't relate to that scenario, but it sounds eventful. Black Ferns are 7 up soon, says Novmum. Yeah, they're going head-to-head with China, I believe, aren't they? Loose ball, Tom Hooper jumps on it. We've got a new channel member of Ellie in the chat too. Thank you very much. You now have access to those emojis as well. But now knock on. Advantage against the Brumbies. That was for Tom Hooper. And yes, China says no, mum. And then New Zealand are playing Australia, aren't they? A little bit of a trans-Tasman one. Looks like Stephen Larkham fully focused at the moment in the coaching box. Wants to make sure that he is making the right decisions here. The Brumbies are going to be conceding, of course, that scrum feed. Already 16 minutes through. These games always fly by, the 9:35 ones. Definitely when two sides are relatively evenly matched. Not a huge amount of stoppages either. Now Hasty. He's going to feed the ball in. Yes, he does. And now big push there. Highlanders, no. Referee says we'll have that one again. And High Ellie Hill's been a minute. Oak ball as well. Says a Blues Nate there. So big pressure coming on from James Slipper as well as Alan Alalatai. A couple international fellows, of course. How much do you play GTA, says Sean. I have in the past. Like, I haven't played it a huge amount recently. And we'll pop on every once in a while for a bit of a look. It just depends. I don't play it by myself. If I'm going to play it, like, I have to have other people playing too, or else then I find myself just doing nothing, really. I just drive a taxi normally. Hello, everyone. I had to go shopping. What did I miss? Says Ruth. Well, we've seen the early try from Caleb Tangi Tau. Territory is 89% in favour of the Brumbies, but they are down by 2. It's probably the best way of summarising it. Now kick downfield for Hasty. And nicely done by Tom Wright. Yeah, been a while, all is well. Busy but well, how about yourself? I've been watching IPL highlights the last couple of nights, pretty hefty batting. It's going to like baseball, I reckon, says Glenn Woods. Yeah, there's some heavy hitters in that IPL comp. And honestly, like anything under 200, you're not really having a chance at winning at times. Now Sam Gilbert goes across to Jonah Nareki. What's the score? Currently 5-3 after 18 minutes. Nice attack and run. Nareki trying to make it 10-3. Now 40 metres out. Welcome to the Kiwi Lads family, Alley Hills. And stolen by the Brumbies though on the breakdown. Goddard will clear the lines, looking for the 50-22. Altane Robinson almost makes a crucial error that could have led to a good chance there for the Brumbies, but that ball is going to be put into touch. And that is now going to be a line out for the Brumbies. And hi Roofhouse, Cape Town today. You all having fun? Good hard. Cape Town hot with a slight breeze. Andy Muirhead almost going into that challenge a little bit too high. Now popped up Rob Valentini. It's going to be hard to get that ball out to Moti Tavatava. Now I thought he was over the ball. There was no clear release. Says the ref. Moti Tavatava. He's one of those guys who, once he's in that breakdown, you're not shifting him. Either he's going to give away a penalty or he's going to get the possession. So pretty much the only two options when he's in there. But now, Alessio, they have the option of going for either the 3 or taking on the 7. And yet again, they're going to opt for the corner here. Still risky from the Brumbies, but I do like the mindset here. There was no clear release from Tavatava there. Just pretty much locked himself over the ball from the get-go. Didn't give player a fair chance to put it down. Now Billy Pollard throwing this one in. Can't give up that much territory and expect to be a winning side, says TH. But that's the thing. They had 89% territory, so they were actually it was in their favour. But they are still down by 2 points at the moment. Position-wise, they also had quite a bit of it throughout that first 10-minute period. Now, good shot on Tom Hooper. In fact, that time it was Lachlan Shaw. A low score, pretty damn close. Hamish is going to come out on top. Honestly, like both of these sides have the potential of winning this contest. And the Highlanders maybe, I don't think, should have been as much of an underdog as they were. But this Brumbies team have been really informed this year. James Slipper, big 2-man tackle from Sehula Ma'u, as well as it would have been TK Howden. Now another chance here. Tom Hooper in possession once more, up to 8 phases in a row. Now Len Nikitau had a good day not too long ago with the ball in hand. Hi, Hamish, says Daniel Watson, welcome in. 30 points to 18 to the Titans, brother, says Rafe. So yeah, that is a pretty hefty win for the Titans. Oh, that's good, Blues Native. Thank you. It's good to be back. See you, Ellie. Back to the left-hand side. Tom Hooper. In fact, this time it was Rory Scott just losing his footing a little bit. Corey Toole. This is off to Andy Muirhead. I'm yet to watch you and George playing the latest Rugby 25. There's some interesting moments. There's a lot of censoring goes on in that career mode episode. But, yeah, be sure to check it out. If you like the old school Rugby Challenge Blues career mode, then it would be the perfect one for you, because it's pretty much that, just us a little bit older. Nice stepping from Corey Toole. 5 metres from the line now for the Brumbies. Len Ikitau pops it up to Noah Lolosio, actually decided to be the crash ball runner. I don't know whether or not that is the best choice. Now, round the side, Pollard scores the try. And the Brumbies, even though they took that risk of going for the 7 rather than the 3, works out for them. Just that bloody chooks let me down again, says Glenn. And what did you have for dinner, Hamish? I had some chips. A pretty uneventful dinner, but it did the job. The Brumbies, like they've said, just taking their chance and willing to just take phase after phase. Wasn't there a Cooper somewhere and the Aussie team a while ago, Quade? So, yeah, Quade Cooper. He was in there. I'm trying to think if they've had another Cooper. I mean, you've got Adam Ashley Cooper as well, perhaps. Billy Pollard. Oh, a little bit of a crawl forward there, I would say, but still relatively close to one movement. And Woodsy Sad Bunch says Rape and Hamish chips with sauce. It was just plain chips, believe it or not even any salt. I was very boring. Len Tricky Towel, he's on the money, not rolling more yet. Unbelievable. Says Glenn Woods. There we go. Sounds like we're going golfing for George's birthday tomorrow during the day. So we are going to have probably about a 30-hour day tomorrow as soon as I go to sleep. But we are used to it for the weekends. Here we go again, says Fleshin. Yeah, score sitting 10 points to 5. Or it might actually only be 8. Did they miss that conversion? I will be honest, I completely missed seeing it. But the scoreboard hasn't given them the conversion there. We go there. Come on, people. Hit the likes button, please. And subscribe to the Kiwi Lads. Happy birthday, George. Here's Ruth. Only a couple hours away from him turning in the big 2-6. And up the fin, says Gus. That's a one Vakina. Now ready to throw this ball in. Goes over the top. So maybe Fabian Holland was having a bit of a problem with one of his eyes here. He doesn't look happy. In fact, he looks like he might have a bit of a cut, but now he's going to try and run back into the action as the Highlanders are back in position. Sean Withy hangs onto it, gives it off to Hasty. Tava Nawai. Only 10 metres out from the try line, still pumping his legs. The inside centre. Ball's there again, Hasty. Goes across to Sean Withy. Now Sawani Vakina. Oh. And I think that's going to be the steal for the Brumbies in the breakdown. Yes, it is. Evening Hamish says studs raise. And Brumbies doing okay. Another try coming, says Ruth. There we go. But now, big shot on Sam Gilbert by Rory Scott. So Highlanders move back into the 22, but the Brumbies get another penalty inside of the breakdown. And Tava, catchy name like Satiti or Satutu or Shaboom. Let's go, says Ruth. There we go. Sorry, organising his birthday plans. But now, Noel Alessio going to be able to kick this one towards the touch line. Oh, you'll be doing the Bulls with Zebre tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. South African time, Hamish. I'm hoping to. There are quite a few matches that we're planning on doing throughout the whole, pretty much throughout that 24-hour period. We've got the Sevens and Super Rugby, but we're going to be covering at least 2 of the URC games throughout that stage. So, yeah, I think Bulls Zebre will definitely be right up there in terms of a chance of doing it. And if not, we will still have multiple other ones as well. Now, Tom Wright going off to Corey Toole. Now, sitting on the halfway line at the moment. And not looking the best early, says PSG. I'm going to have pasta later with basil, oregano, or oregano, depending on where you're from, and olives. Now, ball is there for Harrison Goddard. I like watching you and George play GTA back in the early days. You're both horrendous. No offense, but it was funny to watch. I'd be drinking a rum and coke. And 9 holes or the full 18 at the golf tomorrow. I'd say we'd be lucky to do 9 holes. I think that they'll do probably 5 holes and be completely sick of it. And they probably would, at that point, have shot more than most people would for 18. So, yeah, I don't think it will be too many holes at all. But now, looking for the turnover there in the breakdown with the Brumbies. It was the result of Fiji versus Ireland. Fiji won it in the end, 21 points to 19. Extremely close to losing, but they got the job done. Always up for that virtual pizza, says Ellie. Always missed before the 16th hole, would see so 9, says Drake. Right. They're just checking to see whether or not the Highlanders have grounded this one inside of their in-goal area. So is it taken back? What's the handicap now? It hasn't changed at all. So whatever it was last time, I think it still is probably around 25 or something like that. But I don't think I've had a full round of golf in a good probably 6 months. Just because anytime we go out, if it's the group of us, like we only get through a few holes and then they are normally sick of it. The 19th hole is important. My brother used to tell me, says Glenn Woods, just before getting on the golf course, right, it is going to be a goal line dropout here. So a bit of a awkward one. But yeah, just a really weird situation. And then, yeah, it was actually kicked for by the Brumbies off the foot of Feluai. Daniel Leonard-Brown does well. Pizza's Burgers always go down well anytime. Sears Roof. It's going to be a nice take on the halfway line. Valentini. Now looking for the steal and the breakdown was Lasanga, and he's almost done it. In fact, there is the knock-on from the Brumbies here. I've just said there was the little knock-on. Great work from, in fact, TK Howden also was in there. You need a hole in one, 200 metres away. Sears Ruth. Come on, the Landers. Get up the field, please. Sears Glenn Woods. Yeah, currently they are still down by a little bit. But it does not mean that it can't change. 10 points to 5, the current score with 11 minutes remaining. Crowded house. Sears Ruth and Neil, sorry. Sears Drape. Possession is 77% in favour of the Brumbies. Time in opposition 22, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Whereas for the Highlanders, they've only had 25 seconds yet. They have still been able to score themselves a try, and the Brumbies now get themselves the penalty. 3 points would get them outside of that 7-point window, but I have just a slight feeling that they might look to be aggressive here again. At least I would be surprised if they weren't. The decision is going to be made. So Noel Alessio again, they are going to be looking for that touchline. Great band, and Landers looking good. Sears Drape. It's been an extremely competitive first half. Stephen Larkin, one of the greats. He could carve through the ABs in his day. Says David the Mod. Yeah, just a solid enough scrum. A couple Aussie internationals. And Madness, our house in the middle of the street. Thrown in by Billy Pollard, 10 metres out from the try line now. This one going sideways. Billy Pollard straightening it though. Same with the locks. And this is actually starting to shape up very nicely for the Brumbies. They will be about 5 metres out from the try line. And still creeping forward. Just short. It's going to be curved around here by the looks of it. Now Harrison Goddard. Go back across to the right-hand side. And very close for them through that. I'll watch it on YouTube, says Rape. And there is an advantage now for offside against the Highlanders. This is where the Brumbies can strike again for the second time of the half. And that is a try. I think it is Alan Alalatoa who has popped up with the ball. And Alalatoa is happy with that one. Okay, their Brumbies are doing it. Says Roof. But yeah, very close for Pollard initially. Tavatavanawa, he was almost lying on the ground just trying to stop them from getting underneath. Green in his 4 bloody years didn't age well. And New Zealand ladies 7's up against China now. Could be no contest. Those New Zealand ladies are true champions. Says Gerhard. Yeah, they've been extremely strong throughout the last, well, I was going to say last 12 months, but honestly, it's been longer than that. And that one's going to hit the post and bounce away. Now making the score 15 points to 5. So a good 10-point lead. Highlanders need to hit back there. Says Gus. Alatoa. Not very often that man gets himself tries. So he will well and truly take them. Experienced veteran of this Brumbies team. Now kicked off by Tane Robinson. They've still got 8 minutes remaining in this first half. And it's out on the full again. Twice in this first half now he has done so. It's the high five from Hasty, but there's not too much to give him a high five about. Hamish, we're not far off. Prediction, please. Brumbies 38 Wild Horses. 38-30. See, I would say, I think both sides, well, at least the Brumbies, I believe, are going to hit 25 plus. In fact, I'm going to say both sides hit 25. Even though the Highlanders are struggling at the moment, I do still see them doing relatively well. I didn't need that. All the high five, says Gus. And it's just unneeded territory and position that you're giving up for the Highlanders here. Goddard, chance here on the halfway line. Feed the ball in. He certainly was a player to watch. Sees Glenn now going off to the right-hand side. Goddard goes off to Tom Wright. Looking to run wide, but Thomas Umunga Jensen able to rip the ball out of his hands. Back on the side of the Landers. And that's fair score, says Ruth. Now Hasty. Brumbies are relentless in these breakdowns. Now Nariki has to play halfback. No look pass from Fabian Holland. Gilbert goes across to Caleb Tangitau. We'll tell you what, Corey Tall has tackled a little bit too upright in that one too, and he's only just had that yellow card earlier on in the half. Now Hasty again goes off to Seulamau. Now 6 minutes remaining. 5 for New Zealand, 0 for China. And yes, I said, did we ever decide what flavour we were going to go for? And also Brumbies slowing it down frustrates the Landers. Good take under the high ball from Noel Alessio. Not an easy one to be able to take, but he has done it well. And Brumbies slowing it down frustrates the Landers. Yeah, the Highlanders, we saw what happened when they got a bit of a line break in that first initial one. And they were able to score. But since then, that's going to be a drop ball from Sam Gilbert. Crowd can't quite believe that it isn't a knock on. Hasty now trying to find his way through. Fabian Holland. Pick and go from him. Gets it up to Ma'u again. John Nariki on the halfway line. I'm back across to the left-hand side here. Thomas Umunga Jensen. Currently 10 points down with 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Hasty offloads to Swane Vakina. Goes on the outside to Gilbert, and they will score now, the Highlanders. Took a little bit of effort, but again, the breakaway leads to the try. When I said Ache Fiaki before, I'm pretty sure I meant Caleb Tangitau. Possibly, yeah. It would have been quite a tricky one to guess, I would say. But, yeah, Tangitau out there on the right wing did score the opening try for the Highlanders. And hard to stay live. Red Dots likes to bounce back like a Super Bowl. Yeah, they're just checking that knock on, I believe, of Sam Gilbert. And I do say the knock on because it was. And they've decided they'll go upstairs to check it. So I think this is going to be no try for the Highlanders here. But it's nice of them to let them play for another minute or so before they went back for it. Just to tire them out that little bit more. That's always interesting because when you really think about it, since they're going right back to when that took place, do they, or should they get the minute back? You know, because we're going right back for it. So is there any chance that in the future, I don't think they will because it will end up slowing down the game more, but do they look at the clock at when that took place and that's what we go back to now? Seeing as anything after that is just wasted time? Is it a try? It is no try. Who's the tall line-out guy? Probably Fabian Holland, I would say. So you're talking about New Zealand 12, the 0 of China, says Gerhard. They're saying they're just making a whole heap of ground when they want to. But the Highlanders have made 119 tackles is the one that's just popped up. We have got a gifted membership from David the Mod. Thank you very much, mate. And come on, Lander, says Bruce. And time out of back in, do you mean? Yeah, I don't think they'd ever do it, but I'm just thinking, we had a full 60 seconds of play after that. So they don't, of course, go back in time to when the decision took place, but we do go back to make that decision from that moment, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's a weird way of looking at it that I've never thought of before, but I think I'm just talking for no reason. We have the Highlanders by 7, says Alan. Whatever you decide, Ellie Hills, I'll miff it. That's a lot of tackles, says Gus, and now it's going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the Brumbies. And Landers looking like they will grind us a win tonight. Let's go, says Drape. And Gabriella Sabatini, just remembered her. And Steffi Graf. Here's a roof, but another penalty has gone the way of the Brumbies again. That is for the front row standing up. Alan Alatoa bleeding out his ear, as normally expected for that man, unfortunately. He has had quite a few battles over the years. Now kicking that one into touch for Noel Alessio. What were they hoping was going to happen by letting the Highlanders carry on attacking there? Well, that's the thing. It seemed pretty obvious, didn't it? In terms of the fact that the ball definitely did travel at least close to forward. So, the TMO could have checked that from that moment rather than waiting until the try was scored to then, go back. Rucks in opposition 22. The Highlanders have had 2. The Brumbies have had about 30-something, I think it just said. Brumbies doing those pull-outs well, winning those penalties, says Ruth. Now another opportunity for the Brumbies on attack. Only 3 minutes remaining here too. Now Goddard. Come back across to Filiwai. Goddard. Back to Hooper. Chance there. Lasanga can't get the turnover. No clear release. Another penalty to the Brumbies. Seeing multiple in a row at the moment. Lasanga just saying, I felt like I released him. Referee says, I feel like you didn't. And touch judges are useless. No use for them. Are they always behind the play and miss forward passes? This game has come along way too professionally stupid. Or through professional stupidity, says Drape. We will come screaming out the gate in the second half, no doubt. Our defence is strong, says Allen. And yeah, one bonus for the Highlanders is even with all those tackles that they've had to make, they have still done pretty well in terms of stopping line breaks and not having a huge amount of missed tackles along the way either. Now line out throw here for the Brumbies. 5 metres from the line. So again, a chance for that rolling maul. I need to check my comments before posting. Autocorrect. I'm trying to be the boss of me again. And I'm a David. Says fleshing in there too. Now Goddard goes across to Feriwai in the midfield. Goes off to Lena Cattell. He's really called Lasagna. Not quite, no. Lasanga is the pronunciation. So it's pretty much Lasaqa. But because of where the man is from, it means that the Q is pronounced NG. But it is kind of close to lasagna, of course. Actually, I'm a David John. Says Leston. Is your last name Smith? You're David John Smith? Because then if that's the case, you got the hat trick for Ruth. 30 seconds remaining. Tane Robinson. After they did win the penalty inside of their own 22, the Highlanders, they do get it out to about 45 metres from the Brumbies line. Or in fact, from their own line. And we have got the how did I know, says Ruth. Now thrown in over the top for Saula Mau. That was an extremely long throw. Almost went half the length of the field. Or the width of the field. Did Seven get penalised for not releasing? When he wasn't tackler. Yeah, well, actually, now that you say that, maybe. Because he kind of said I went like that, but maybe they said that he made contact somewhere along the lines. Yes, it's possibly a decent point. Now going back across to the right-hand side here, Caleb Tangitau puts the kick in behind Lasanga. It sits up for him. It'll be 15 metres out from the line, gets through the tackle attempt of Corey Toole. Hat-tricks are on tonight. Says Glenn Woods, hasty. Goes across there to TK Howden. Another advantage, this time against the Brumbies. We've seen a huge amount of this first half. Played under advantage. Passed on the outside to Thomas Umaga Jensen, who's just dropped the ball cold. Now 5 metres out from the Brumbies lines. Aaron Smith is a surprise sub in the second half. Says Alan, wouldn't that be quite the treat? I mean, they, of course, want someone like a Falau Fakatava back as well, which they have been missing. Also, no James Ascott. They're missing a few nines. Maybe Smith does make that almighty return. Drop ball, says Ruth. Now going off to the left-hand side. Nice passing, Sean Withy. On the outside. And the penalty to the Brumbies again. Alazanga sounds violent for my tummy, says Rape. And someone hungry for lasagna, says a Blues Nate. And they do kick this one into touch. And now half time. 15 points to 5. So 10 points separating them. On a little bit of maths, Brumbies, with those 15 points, have scored 2 tries. Highlanders have got themselves 1. So they're going to need 2 more tries in the second half if they do want to extend and get into a position of a bonus point. Sounds good. Always a good plan to have a lasagna. Also Hawaiian pizza. Says Ellie and dropped it like a Rico. Says Glenna, that's a NFL football rush. How can that be a penalty? And very French. It was made, it's great. I prefer Greek. Musaka. Yeah, half time. Probably about a 10-minute break. We will get some stats up for this contest. We go like this and like that. There we go. I'm trying to follow as much Super Rugby as possible, but clearly not enough. As the Brumbies the team to beat this season. I'll show you the table. I wouldn't say they're probably the Australian side to beat, but the overall, a lot of people would still say that the Chiefs are the side that are looking the best at the moment. Although the Crusaders, like I said, if the Crusaders win up against Moana Pacifica, they actually go ahead of the Chiefs. So Crusaders back up where a lot of people felt like they should have been last year. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Highlanders do need this win if they want to move up. The Brumbies, they have the potential of actually going all the way up to second place if they were to get themselves a bonus point win here, which of course would involve scoring 3 more tries than their opposition. The stats for the half, 67% possession in favour of the home side. Attacking-wise, we have seen more metres gained by the Highlanders. They've beaten more defenders. They've had more clean breaks. And they've made a lot more offloads. But the difference is the Brumbies, with the amount of possession that they've had, have just been able to continue moving forward. 119 tackles made by the Highlanders. And I think that number's just going to go up and up more. In fact, I think they could make 200 throughout this game. No truck and trailer, mauling rules. I'm surprised, not going to lie. Reds vs Brumbies looks like a good game in round 9. So here's Mr. Orlin. But, yeah. We have to wait and see how the second half goes. What other stats have we got? Who's had a good first half, I wonder, in terms of the teams? We'll look for them here. Caleb Tangitau, he's had a fair amount of metres. 7, apparently. My bad. I thought he had had a few more of that, or more than that. Noel Alicio, he's had a decent first half too. Corey Toole, he got himself the early yellow card. I'm looking for the big metres. We're not really seeing too many as of yet. Goddard, he's had 2, but he's had 61 passes. Yeah, but what was that penalty count again? So the penalty count at the moment, the way that it sits, and this one is sitting at 9 penalties against the Highlanders, 5 against the Brumbies. That's why I pick a melon. He's the people's champ. Says Drape there, and I went to University of YouTube, got my degrees at Broology. Church A, I can't spell. And nice commentary, bro. Thanks for this. It's great for us who don't have Sky. And we are here for a majority of Super Rugby's games, as well as the URC, the Sevens. We actually got another Sevens live stream later on tonight. But, yeah, that's going to be at about 1:30 a.m., I think it is. So, it's going to be a relatively late one. And I can't believe the Canes only won 2 games so far. Used to be my favourite team. I'm a Stormers, but they play the same type of rugby. Now they are up to 3, though. That was not updated from their massive win over the Waratahs. They absolutely dominated the Aussie side there. We'll check the odds yet again. And Karefi put in a big shift. Tars given a lesson. Says Gus. Yeah, that's the thing. Like him, Yossi, and Larkai were all pretty happy or pretty strong throughout that matchup. Whereas Brad Shields was the loose forward who got the try. And that just shows sometimes you can put in all the work out there, but every once in a while the ball just doesn't go to you. And we have got, there go, Landers, glory, New Zealand. We qualified for the Football World Cup 2026. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome one. See the Kiwis in action there. Who knows, maybe we even need to do the commentary. Do a couple watch-alongs. And Brumbies coach must be happiest, says Ruth. Yeah, he'll be glad to be up by 10 up against this Landers side. There was almost that try of Sam Gilbert, which could have made it a lot closer. And Amazing Blues Nate, I think we need a drink too. Now we have the next Rugby Sevens Blitz Swaps game, please, someone. So the next game for them is actually the one that we're going to be covering on the channel. I'll quickly get it for you in a decent time. I'll go here and we'll go to there for the Hong Kong. Where are we? So South Africa are actually going to be in action in about 20 minutes time, and that is up against Uruguay, so we'll keep you updated with that game, of course. And then from there, the next game that we're covering is at 1:39 a.m. New Zealand time, so that is 2:39 p.m. South African time, and we will be doing the commentary for that match rather than just giving little updates. Hurricanes punished the Waratahs with home advantage is what they've just said there. We'll go like this, then like this. And that would be a great game, New Zealand versus Wales at the Football World Cup. We get there, who would have thought? Says Fleshin, and Argentina just thrashed Brazil a couple of days ago in World Cup qualifying, and agree, Ange. One. And we have got there. Imagine if New Zealand upset Argentina. Would be absolutely huge. Thanks so much, Hamish. You're the best. See you, Bruce. And yeah, we will also be covering New Zealand versus South Africa tomorrow, which I will quickly get the time for you as well. That's taking place at 7:43 a.m. South African time. I am trying to organise. I'm getting frantic messages. Do you think the Rugby 25 updates are improving the game? Slowly but surely. Like when we look at what happened at the very start, there have been minor improvements and some major. The game's still a long way from being completely fixed though, but at least they're still updating it rather than just giving up on it. But I think that's because they do hope to do more down the line, so they know that if they mess this one up, no one's going to buy it anymore. But yeah, we'll have to see whether or not it's 2 updates a week. They've recently added in the women's game, which is ideal with the Six Nations going on at the moment, but they will still need to fix some gameplay. We'll bide our time and we'll just keep on going with that Hurricanes career mode. We're actually almost up to the playoff games, which is quite exciting. Scott Barrett, Kane Williamson, Chris Wood had to be legends of our sports. Says battery performance. How's Scott Barrett ended up in that trio out of curiosity? Battery performance, because of course Kane Williamson, massive amount of runs for New Zealand, one of the greatest cricketers to come out of the country. Chris Wood, tearing it up at the moment for Nottingham Forest, also has had some moments in that New Zealand All Whites kit. Scott Barrett, he's been around a while. He's had a few games for the Crusaders and the All Blacks. He's had a couple red cards. You know what I remember about the World Cup? Undefeated with no trophy. Grant Fox, are you going to win the game against the Tars in the playoffs? Says Glenn Woods. Hopefully, although I also wonder how it's going to work because they had the semi-final brackets, but there's 6 teams. So I don't know whether or not there's some sort of weird thing that's going to happen, how maybe if we lose, we get a bye and we get to continue playing somehow. I don't really know how it will work, but we will soon find out. Yeah, I just hope that we can get the win. We better win, but do you see any chance? They're still close. Amish, do you think New Zealand will reach knockout stages of the Soccer World Cup 2026? The thing is, it's such a big competition now, isn't it? Like, isn't it 48 teams or 42 teams or whatever it is? Winston Reid. Yep, another Kiwi great when it comes to football. Hi, Hamish, says Callum, welcome in. Currently not a mile off the second half taking place. Down by 10 at the moment, the Highlanders, but they have got potential to come back into this contest. They've shown some great attacking moments. Biggest thing for them, though, is going to be to just get their hands on the ball that little bit more. They've got Henry Bell, Bartlett, and Kautai as their front row replacements. Stoddard and Loft, Lennox, Faliafanga, and also Tenuelu Talia is there as the number 23 for the Brumbies. They've got Bowen, they've got Scoop, Fun Neck, Cadron Neville, Tui Lima, and then Thorne, Dibberixeni, and Sapsford as the other replacements. Martin Crowe and Kane Williamson, New Zealand's best ever batsman, says Glenn Woods. I was here at the Satyrs game last week. Are you going to their game up against Moana Pacifica? Callum, out of curiosity, All Whites need to get a couple of games in versus the Socceroos, says Gus. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a few warm-up contests, of course, for them. Currently, that match has taken place between New Zealand and Australia in the 7s, ladies and gents. To anyone who's new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Currently, the way that game sits, it is 7-0 to New Zealand. How's your fantasy team going, bud? I don't actually have a fantasy team. Believe it or not, it's just because I'm terrible at predictions and too indecisive. So that really doesn't lead to great decisions being made in a fantasy. Arachan Ravindra is pretty good, says Callum. All right, here we go. And how's it, Hamish, brother? Doing very well, Birdie. Excited, but also a little bit nervous about the big weekend. We've got a lot of hours back to back to back. I believe tomorrow we're going to be doing about a 30-hour day. And then on Sunday, we have also got the 7s all throughout that we are going to be covering on the channel. I like our All Whites, just that they let, that was a letdown. Says Dre, but to be honest, if Ben Stokes was there, Black Caps would have listed plenty ICC trophies. And I'm not going to the Satyrs game this week in the new stadium at Centennial Park, Oamaru. Starting to go up, says Kiwi Gamer. And West Ham, France dark horse for the Rugby World Cup. And Wales need a new coach to go anywhere, says Alan. And New Zealand 12-0. So they have managed to score again since we last gave a bit of an update. The Blitzbox not a mile away from playing their match either. On which time will the game start? which time game will start. So if we're talking about this one, second half, I would say is only around, if I had to guess, we'll just have a quick look. I would say we're probably like a minute away from the second half starting up, maybe 2 minutes. It sounds like a good time, Blues Nate. So here's Ellie, my mate returned from the States the other day. See, rugby is becoming very popular over there. Yeah, I think the MLR is really helping it grow in the US, and also the Rugby World Cup being hosted there in some time might help more people get involved in it. I do also like how they do some of their decision making for the rugby, like in terms of a draft type of system, how guys come in as number one ranked in the draft, and it kind of adds a bit more of something, almost Americanizes it, I guess you could say. Now second half, second 40 about to start up. What about Brendan McCullum, says Roof? Yeah, there's been some great New Zealand cricketers over the years. And chance of 10, or chance out of 10 of Kirifi being in the black jersey. Well, he's just locked into New Zealand rugby till 2027, so I think that helps increase his chances too. I'd say it's harsh, right? But I'd say about a 5. I think it's 50-50 because it all depends on Robertson. I think that Kirifi's done enough to be in there, and if I was the selector, I would probably put him in, but it's whether or not Robertson will. Nathan Astle says, Gus, and who do you prefer, Will O'Rourke or Ben Sears? I'd probably say, I don't mind Will O'Rourke, but then in the field, he always looks like he's so sad, doesn't he? He kind of lopes around. Ben Sears, he's a very angry bloke. He'll give you 110%. But, yeah, I'll probably go O'Rourke, I guess. But both of them can be a bit rough at times with their bowling. Ross Taylor says Callum. And watch and wait. Who's going to come out swinging first, says Roof. And, yeah, I think for the sake of the Landers, it has to be them. They're currently sitting 10 points down. It could have been a bit closer had that try not been disallowed, but was the knock on? Xavier Numia should have been in the All Blacks. He should. Well, that's the thing. He has a decent chance, but once again, it all depends on Robertson, whether or not he's looking at Tamaiti as a 1, or whether, Ethan de Groot, he's probably going to be in there anyway. I know it's not the sports on this channel, but with New Zealand qualifying with football, and both Australia and South Africa in a good position, we can have a rugby championship group at the World Cup. Says LA Tens. Man live from the stadium. I won a dance-off. Prizes VIP seat in the HSBC area for one game at 7:30. Unlimited drinks. We'll tell you what, that's going to be a very busy 25 minutes for yourself, Damo. So hopefully you are enjoying it. I haven't managed to see what your costume is, if you have got one for this opening day, and draft would be good. Bring the kids out of unit and strength regional. Spread the players nationwide and go down to their development to grassroots. Definitely got the skill, size and ability, but now the Highlanders on attack around the halfway line. Bounce pass. Picked up nicely by Caleb Tangi Tau. Always hard to catch. He's gone for the little chip in behind, and Tom Wright has taken it very well. I've been on lots, says Dame. How we have there, it was Glenn Phillips and Devon Conway, says Battery. I should mention we've only covered 2 games of the 7 so far, so that's probably why we haven't managed to see as of yet. Now quickly taken there on the halfway line. Chance here again for the Highlanders with Timothy Tavanawai, Tane Robertson. It's off to Nareki. Draft will be great for the Landers, says Gus. And driven into touch. Good defence. And Glenn Phillips born in South Africa, says Glenn Woods. How's your fantasy going, Hamish? I don't have a fantasy team. Most of my predictions that I say in terms of who I think will score, they don't though. American Gladiator, says Dame Set Match. What does the pool look like at the Hong Kong 7? So for South Africa, they are in the group with Australia, New Zealand, and Uruguay. So Uruguay could be the side that kind of ruins someone's run if they are able to cause an upset somewhere along the lines. All Blacks will need to do a redemption for the Rugby World Cup 2027. Says Battery Performance. Speaking of these 7s, at the moment New Zealand are leading 21 points to 7. We have got the donation from Blues Nate. Pay for our virtual meal at the Kiwi Lads restaurant. Well, thank you very much, Nate. Greatly appreciated. Hopefully you do enjoy your pizza. Might have to get my... Oh, Noel Alessio slipping there. Yeah, might have to get myself one. As well, pull of death it seems, says Roger. I'm not sure if it's the pull of death, but it's certainly a pull that could have an upset in there, I would say, is probably the best way of describing it. Like, all the sides are capable enough. But for me, South Africa and New Zealand should finish top 2. And then I think Australia will go through as one of the best third-place teams. And even if Australia don't and someone else does, I think they'll still go through anyway. And Ali Hills, cheers. And you're the best, says Ruth. Nicely taken by Timothy Tava Nawai. Off to the right-hand side, Fabian Holland. It's been much better at the moment for the Highlanders in terms of their possession. I got Nick Frostley, Nikitau, and Sam Gilbert in my fantasy team. Well, Gilbert almost got himself the try just before, but narrowly missing out. Now short side. Here's Hasty. Offloads it up to Caleb Tungi. Tau offloads to Gilbert. Gilbert's just scored. So that will help your fantasy out. But as we mentioned about his cancelled out try, he says, well, this one's not being cancelled. And does now score his first of the match. How many games have the New Zealand men's played? This is their first game. So then later on they're playing Uruguay. And then alongside that we will get to see them play South Africa tomorrow. So a couple big matches still to come for the Kiwis. But currently halftime leading 21 points to 7. And Joe says Callum there. Really nicely done by Hasty to be able to pierce around the short side. Justice try, says Alan Wallace. Holland is so dangerous with that counter-attack. Cheers, appreciate it. We'll have to do it again sometime. Says Ellie. Kick has gone over too, so that will make the score now 15 points to 12. It's a perfect way of shutting down a gap between the sides early on as well. So still plenty of time. Are you doing the sevens today, says Connor Crowley? We are doing some of the sevens. The next game that we have got is South Africa versus Australia. We did already do Fiji versus Ireland and Fiji versus USA, as they didn't overlap with the Super Rugby matches. And tomorrow we've got plenty more of the sevens too, including the remaining pool stage matches and then also the group stage, the semi-finals in there as well. Now, it's going to be close to the sideline. It's converted as about $400. I don't know about that conversion rate, but yeah, it's relatively high up. I think are we slightly more than the Aussie dollar at the moment or slightly less? I struggle to keep up. Now, Tava Nawai kicking it in behind. And it's going to be a good chase from Gil, but no. Tom Wright does get it down. And Gilbert needs to tidy up on his 1%. Says Gus. And what about Dougie Howlett, Brian Williams, Peter Wheeler, Brian Johnson, Buckius Bota, Jus van der Westerhuizen, says Ruth. And Sam Gilbert's been great this season, says Callum, I should say. No, Lalicio has this ball in hand, 27 points to 29. Might not be a mile off. That was in favour of the Highlanders, wasn't it? So 2 more tries coming for the Brumbies in that case, and a couple more missed kicks for the Highlanders. Unless they do, of course, get the 3 and 2 converted tries, that would work out into the correct number. Besides World Cup Sevens and Olympics, Hong Kong Sevens is the big one. Crowd spirit bigger than the World Cup and Olympics at least. Says Roger. He had a new stadium too, so already seems like they are bringing the atmosphere. Going to be kicked high by Goddard. Does go into touch. We'll be around the halfway line now for the Highlanders. Another chance, and Gilbert did make amends for the ball drop, though I guess that's tidying up. What's the story with joining the channel, boss? Do I need a YouTube say-or? I'm keen to be a member, soon to be 1915. Says Alan. So pretty much it is like a monthly membership type of thing, which just supports the channel. It gives you access to the emojis that you see every once in a while. Who even is the scoreboard? Who's running this thing? Embarrassing. Says Tanner. It is an online scoreboard. That's a good kick downfield from the Brumbies, but it's going to continue bouncing and almost ends up going dead. We have got the liquor all the way from South Africa, says DH. We have got there anytime you to bomb, maybe you can enjoy a pizza or a steak sandwich, says Ruth. And come on the Landers, says Gus. Yeah, we have got quite a few South African games coming up, of course, DH. We have got the Sevens between the Blitzboks and Australia. That is only a few hours away. A nice take from Leneki Tau. Goddard. Going off to Slipper. Frost getting bent in all sorts of different directions there. Mentioning quickly, 21 points to 7, still the score in the New Zealand versus Australia Sevens match. Come on the Landers, says Callum, and how much time left? Still another 32 minutes, so honestly, plenty of time for these two sides to still secure the win. Oh, big shot on Leneki Tau. Almost a steal for Jonanariki. Referee says you're not on the ball, you're on the hands, but the hands would have been very close to the ball, I would think. Now Goddard kicks this one high again. Andy Muir chasing after a drop ball from Tane Robinson, picked up by Jonanariki. That was close to another steal. Oh, good, mate. I just having a dig at the Kiwi dollar. Sears Blues, Nate. Oh, sorry, that was David the Mod. And Landers are pulling it back. Not too bad. Brumbies still stood in mud. Yeah, they certainly haven't found that same rhythm that they had. Keep in mind, I was talking about Super Rugby, not you. Series 10 or 2. Yeah, sometimes the scoreboard can be all over the place. I think you're talking about the one at the actual game, not this one, aren't you? Because I know that they took a really long time to put the Brumbies conversion up. I know nothing about rugby. I have a problem. I have this month's rent on the Highlanders. I'm nervous. That probably wasn't, like, they might win, don't get me wrong, but you certainly shouldn't be betting a whole month's rent on it. Because, like, yes, you might end up getting some money back, but then you're just going to do it again, and eventually that money's going to disappear. Nice offload from Sean Withy. Hasty passes off to Timothy Tavatavanawa. That was a forward pass from Lasanga. Just facing the wrong way there. 30 minutes remaining now. Highlanders starting to find a lot of running meters throughout the last little while. Are you right, bro? Take late now, or too late, though. Do you have the cash out option? Because they probably would be paying more than you put on them if you bet them from the start of this game. But you probably don't have the cash out option, I would say. Use Nate. What's the occasion? Bro says Spider Mick. Post contact meters, 79 for the Brumbies throughout this game. They have had some really strong runs, but the Highlanders staying in there with them. This game at GIO Stadium, obviously the Brumbies have got their home field advantage, but still plenty of time left. I got them down 15-5 plus 6.30. So there's no cash out, I assume. Wrote odds on Valentini scoring. He's my last multi. Do you want the honest answer or the one that, like, is what you want to hear? Because honestly, he's hardly had the ball throughout this match, and they haven't gone to him too many times. So if he scores, it would be pretty surprising. Like, he's had 29 metres gained, 2 defenders beaten, so, you know, he's had it a bit, but he hasn't looked that likely. It seems like their backs are where they're really trying to target. Fall past that 1% of stuff, just working against them. Says Gus. Something Super Rugby should have a league like the Indian Premier League. Aussies, South African, New Zealand bids and buys players from amongst each other. Imagine Etzviev playing for the Crusaders, for example. Says Roger. See their defenders beaten 21 for the Highlanders. And that's going to be stolen at line-out time. Nicely claimed by Sean Withy. He's had quite the standout performance in this contest as well. A kick downfield from Hasty, who is looking towards the touchline. Does do nicely. Gene Upshaw would have been a mean lock, says Drape. Just seeing there also, the carry meters, almost an extra 250 on top of the Brumbies here. Overthrow, nicely claimed by Sawani Vakina. The groans and moans of the crowd. They are not happy with that Brumbies set piece. All Black Sevens win, says Novmum. So they did end up winning that one by the looks of it, 21-12. And now South Africa versus Uruguay just about to take place. Corey Toole goes back across to the right. Now Andy Muirhead looks to find some space, but Timothy Tavatavanawai is back there and ready to cover. That is a big shot there from Tom Hooper. If he scores, surely he scores, bro. I've got a 5-league multi and got them all, but Rob Valentini, says Ryan. That would have been paying a decent amount because, Valentini normally is good $2.50, $3. Nice run from Jonah Nareki up the field. They won't catch him. And it's the try now for the Highlanders again. That's a generation of young Americans who have played and know only rugby. I can't wait for them to hit their stride and go. You good things, says Suds Race. Our Highlanders close out the game already, says Bruce. Well, they are getting further towards it. They have managed to score themselves the try there of Jonah Nareki. But just Tava Nawai. Big shot coming in at Tom Hooper. A bit of a soft try. Yeah, he just ran pretty much. And then Goddard's got an injured shoulder, so he wasn't going to be able to make the tackle. And Nareki just runs it in. Easy enough. And yes, strike time says choke the woke. The Highlanders, they have certainly come out in the second half with a different mindset to the first 40. The Brumbies now, they are down by 4 points. The All Blacks match is over, says Connor. Yep, and they did get themselves the win. And here we go, says Glenn. And yeah, bro, the multi was paying $87 when I did it. Chucked on 50, so surely that's very hefty. What does that work out to be? About $4 grand? Something like that. And nobody tried charging down, says Studs Ray. And where can I watch? I'm too high for this, says Mask Down. So depending on where you are in the world, by the sounds of it, you are overseas in America, I think you mentioned. So not really any easy options other than maybe Flow Rugby if you have got a subscription. Nobody tried charging down. And also Grind Us That Winlanders, says Drape. They've been told to use it back into the pocket. There is going to be an advantage now. I believe that is against the Brumbies for being offside. They will go right back for it. No, I don't see his mask down. So sadly, there won't be too many free options to be able to watch. But currently, the Highlanders are up by 4. So that is a big bonus for yourself. And I'm going to just chill here. Love the vibes, man. Says mask down. I think ever since you got here, the Highlanders have gone a lot better. Got themselves 2 unanswered tries in the second half. 14 points worth. And USA flying. And yeah, that's great news. Says mask down. And there as well, but now Tane Robertson will kick this one towards the touchline. I don't think we'll be a mile off seeing some subs. He's had a bit of a mixed game. Tane Robertson. I think they will bring out Whaliafunga. Not too far in the future. Hi bro, how is you? Says Nasoni, doing very well. My wife might not leave me. Says Mars down. Well, I would heavily recommend, if you do win this one, to not do it again. Nothing funnier than watching a tight head prop trying to chase down a back. Says David the Mod. And there's nothing more embarrassing for that back when they get caught by the prop. Every once in a while it happens. Pure pace. Oh, that's another knock on. I think that's going to be an accidental offside. It would have gone against the Brumbies. Brumbies win, says Gabriel. And they'll go back now for another scrum. And this kind of broken play, initially we thought that that would go against the Highlanders, but it's actually working in their favour a little bit. They seem to be a little bit more structured at times here. If I lose, though, Alone is getting taken out 100%. Says Mars down, Jake. And Brumbies to win, says Gabriel. And yeah, got Caleb as the first try scorer anytime with Alatoa, Pollard, Gilbert, and hopefully Valentini. Honestly, you've done very well to get all of those right. Caleb is first try scorer. I'm surprised that isn't paid more, if I'm honest, because him scoring first try probably like, he would have been like, what, $10 for him to score the first try. Then you consider Alala to score. I would assume that would have been maybe 7, 5 maybe. Pollard would have only been maybe $1.80, $2. Gilbert probably about the same. Don't know what that adds up to. But it should be about 200, shouldn't it? Can I ask, as a rugby fan, who do you think wins honestly? Going into this game, I did feel like the Highlanders had a chance, but then at the same time, with the Brumbies being at home, it makes it difficult because Brumbies have had just something seems to happen when they play at GIO Stadium that sometimes they just dominate the opposition. This game hasn't been one of those times, though. This has been a lot more competitive. But, you know, I think the Landers from the get-go did have a decent chance, but they wouldn't have wanted to be down by that 10 points, I wouldn't say. But maybe that's been what's helped them. Here comes the Moth there. Tava, Nawai, another offload there to Hasty. There was no arms. And that one from Felioi, and I think they might have to consider looking at that. Lasung is saying, how about we have a look at it? I love your accent. Says Mars down. Do you think Hasty is having a good game, really pushing his case? Yeah, he's looked pretty strong. Yeah, now that's not much of a wrap there from Felioi, and actually caught him high too. Oh. Okay, he didn't get hit in the head though, that different angle. It doesn't look good though from certain sides. Oh my goodness, this is great, says Mars down. And opinion Hammy, my girlfriend called me today. I answer, can't talk, I'm driving. All the time I'm with another girl. Is that cheating, Hammy? It depends on what you're doing with the other girl, I would say. But does she know about the other girl? Because you should probably tell her. And half of them were guesses. I think it was like 12 to score first. Alatoa and Valentini were paying the most. And then the other two weren't paying heaps. So I was paying 87 all up. Says Ryan, but Valentini... Oh... Do you get anything for getting 4 out of 5? Because Valentini's leaving the field now for Luke Raymer. So unless someone gets injured in that loose forward trio, he's now not going to be out on the field anymore. Atlanta's totally different side in the second half. And how do the All Blacks have next? They are going to be playing in July. I think their first game's up against France, unless they've got a warm-up game that I can't quite think of off the top of my head. Now ball's going to be fed in for the Brumbies. So 21 minutes left. And it's going to be another penalty going the way of this Brumbies side. Another like more than eating vanilla ice cream covered in a bit of Bailey's Irish whiskey and watching Rugby Heaven, says David the Mod. That's like a pretty good combo. That ball is going to go into touch now. Just ask them the question, what's going wrong for the Highlanders? But we've got to remember, the Highlanders aren't sitting terribly in this contest. You know, they are leading at this point in time. But now thrown in, nicely claimed by the Brumbies. And bad timing Mod, says a drape. And we have there, I don't think this ref knows what the Brumbies tight head should be doing. He's off, bro. I know that's gutting. I think I may get money back for getting 4 out of 5. Well, I hope I'm a slap that on a horse, bro, says Ryan. And who knows, maybe he does return. Like, if there's a head knock or something, he could make his way back out onto the field in the near future. Highlanders, the movie. They got a bollocking from their coach at halftime, says Ruth. Now pass it across here. Corey Toole tries to go through. It's a good low tackle made on him as well. Back off to the left-hand side to Fun Nick. 7 phases in. Debrinks Zini passes across to Tom Wright. Already there seems to be a little bit more attacking intent from the Brumbies. And maybe that is just because they know that it is the last quarter. I'm assuming there's a good crowd there. Not a huge one, but not terrible either. You know, like I'd say it's a solid enough crowd. But now, a little bit of a slip coming there. The Brumbies 21. I'm assuming there's a good crowd. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? But now, chance here for the Brumbies. They are still inside of the 22. Clayton Thorne going off to the right. This is a good backline movement here for the Brumbies. Tom Wright passes on the outside to Corey. Toole steps round Tane Robertson and scores another try for the Brumbies. And they will now take the lead 20 points to 19 with a kick to come as well. And that gets them back in the lead. He's had 3 tries so far throughout the season, 20 in his career, Corey Toole, which hasn't actually been that long for the Brumbies, we should mention. Some big shots coming in. I think it was Sawani Vakina put the shot in on Fun Neck, but then the backline still functioned. That's now their 3rd try of the match. So for either of these sides to get a bonus point for being 3 or more tries ahead, they would both need 3 from here without conceding. And then in terms of the bonus point for being within 7, both of these sides would be eligible for it, just the way that we do sit. Don't know if they got a bollocking. Joseph would have identified where they needed to tidy up, says Gus. That kick has gone over. In fact, no, sorry, kick is missed. Away to the side, so 20 points to 19 now. Another big chance. The Brumbies to capitalise. Just really good finish from Corey Toole as well. Pure pace from the X7 superstar. And who's 1-pointer? Vakina now going off the field. That is going to be for Henry Bell. Well taken by Rory Scott. In fact, no, sorry. This time it is Tom Hooper. He's had a busy game. And that 8 jersey. Back across. Jacques Debringzini. Let's put the ball out. Oh, set a cameraman on the head. Gilbert not happy about it, as he did want to take that one quickly. Doesn't get the opportunity to. A line-out throw here for the Highlanders. They will definitely want to make sure they win this one, or else they would not be happy. That is not that straight. Sounds like the ref's going to say it's all right, though. Now across to Josh Bartlett. Keeps going. Some good leg strength shown by the replacement loose here prop, Henry Bell. Looks like all the front row are trying to get involved here. Let's go to Landers. 2 tries now. Says Blues Nate. It's going to be a no advantage in favour of the Highlanders. Just getting informed that they do still have that advantage. Fabian Holland goes across to Tane Robertson, 27-29. Come on, Landers, one more try. Says Glenn Woods. Oh, that one was a little bit high. Has to duck under it. No advantage, though. Oh, no, now they go back. 22, that's Jack Debringzini. Caught him a little bit high. And in fact, they've got him for offside rather than the high shot. Now the Highlanders. 15 minutes remaining. I think they'll consider taking the 3 here. Yes, they are. I've realised that that bonus point is probably not on the cards anymore, but a win certainly can be. Okay, the commentators from Australia are saying you go for touch here. But I think that you take the lead. In this case, don't get me wrong, like getting a try now would have been quite a big one for them, but I just don't know whether it's worth the risk. And Crumble win or no, says 2 Wavy. Crumbled win. I'm not sure what you mean. Is that like the Brumbies to win? That kick is going to go over, and it's going to now make the score at the moment 22 points to 19. And currently in the first half, South Africa versus Uruguay, they are leading 19-0. Brumbies win or not? Autocorrect my fault, G. I was pretty confused. I thought maybe it was a new nickname for the Brumbies, but honestly, it's a 50-50 at the moment for me. These two sides have been very evenly matched in certain aspects of this contest. How's that offside? Grab the ball and run with it, says Ruth. Take the 3, please, says Glenn. So yeah, now they are leading by the 2 points. Brumbies have the position on the halfway line. Do you think there is still going to be one league change later on in this match? Perhaps a couple. And the Highlanders get themselves another penalty in their favour. So I would say that that now makes that decision to take 3 the right one. They'll be able to work their way up the field again here. Just really well done. Tom Wright, bit isolated. Now Faliafanga He will kick this ball into touch, or at least try to. He doesn't find it though. So it is going to be play on. That is a big mistake from the Landers. De Brezini goes down the field near the 22 of the Highlanders. Gilbert goes across to Jonah Nareki. He looks like he was taken out, but the ball sits up. Gilbert doesn't get it. And Luke Raymer now has it. Sean Whiffy told to get out of it. If the Highlanders win, I'm getting naked. Says mask down. There we go. Get the Highlanders up again. Says Roof there too. Now passing on the outside. Chance here. Corey. Oh, that's a big shot coming on him. Looked a little bit high, but the ball has actually popped out on the side of the Highlanders yet again. Faliafunga trying to find his way through. Being told to leave it. Across the left-hand side. Tangi Tau. Now going right again. Dunshay. Low tackle. Obviously done by the Brumbies. Just holding strong, so that forces the Highlanders to go for the kick. That's a great take from Tom Wright, but then throws the forward pass, and it was a knock-on from Andy Muirhead as well. They've had a little bit of a shocker there, and Ariki definitely taken out. Says Gus. It did look like maybe there was a line change to a certain extent. But now another chance to be able to extend the lead now. They can get themselves the scrum penalty. It would be massive for them. The Bulls are having a busy day here. Says Ruth. Yeah, it's covered a lot of turf. Saw that the Highlanders had around 500 metres gain around that halfway mark. And they've still been running it hard. Landers going to win. Says 2 Wavy. Now 12 minutes left. Should also mention the next live stream that we are doing, ladies and gents, will be starting up at around 2 hours, 30 minutes time. And that is going to be the match-up taking place between the Blitzboks and Australia. Alongside that, we have got matches all throughout the near future. That ball was about to come out the back. Jordan Way says no. How the Timo missed that. Unbelievable. Says Gus. And let's all make money, boys. Shout out to the gamblers. Says 2 Wavy. Now 11 minutes left. And every time that we have a scrum, it's going to use up that little bit more time off the clock. I see those horrible flash ads are not popping up lately. Says Bruce, yeah, for some reason it was only like 1 week, and then now they've kind of taken them all away. HIGHLANDERS. Says Blues Nate. And now, what do they decide to do here, the Landers? They've had 2 scrum resets, 4 scrum penalties conceded. So the quicker they can get this ball in and out, the better. And no stupid fumbles now that it's close. Says Ruth. Now, ball's going to be fed in. It is at the back for the Highlanders. Trying to kick this one forward. And now it's going to be another reset. A bit annoying, not too bad. Says Glenn. All right, they're both going in, going straight across as the call from the referee as to why he did penalise that scrum. I did block and report them. For what it's worth, says Bruce. And we'll give you great music for those that love music. Says Drape. And try time Landers. Let's go. Come on, Landers. Upset us on. Says Gus. Yeah, another try here would almost put them in a position where it would be very difficult to lose from there, but not impossible. Can be done. Now, ball fed in again for the Highlanders. Is there a place to watch it for free? Sadly, not really. A lot of them. Oh, it's going to be another penalty going the way of the Brumbies. That is a fifth scrum penalty against the Highlanders. Their best effort was when they decided not to play it. They were trying to get a penalty of their own, which I think was a terrible decision. So how many resets we have seen. Ads, I have to pay the bill, guys, says Spider-Meek. Who's going to hold tight, says Ruth. Like I've just said, as soon as that turn was there in the scrum, it's always going to be a bit of danger. But 9 minutes remaining, nicely claimed by the Brumbies around the halfway line. Mentioned how many games before at GIO Stadium they've managed to find themselves a win. They come back from behind. And they get that last minute penalty is normally the trend for a Brumbies contest. So that is why the Highlanders know that they need another try. Good clean out attempt from Timothy Tava now wide past out wide to Corey Toole. Now there's a chance. Chipped in behind. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. Nariki has no option but to take it back, and it will now be a 5-metre scrum for the Brumbies. And another close match. There's William Presley, extremely close. And as we get closer to the end of this game, it will be even more intense for Corey Toole. Great weighted kick. And just has to take it back there. John Nariki had no option but to grab that ball in the field of play, or else Toole would have been all over it. Tried to wait as long as he could, but Toole was on his heels. But now 8 minutes left on the clock. The Brumbies are 5 metres out from the line. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here. Obscure vinyl stick sweethearts too. Big one right there. Need the advantage, says Mr. All-In. And there have been so many matches, or close matches this season. It is exciting. Yeah, there's been a lot of great games. But one thing that we haven't had yet is Golden Point. For as close as a lot of contests have been, we've probably had, I don't want to say 20 games within 5 points, but it would be right up there in terms of the numbers. And, no one's been drawing at the end of the game. This one also not very likely, unless, of course, the Brumbies get their conversion over and then the Highlanders score and miss. Would be the only way we see that take place. Now, the scrum. This is where I believe we are going to see a scrum advantage to the Brumbies just because of how many they have been able to win throughout this match already. Who knows, maybe the Highlanders can pull off the miraculous shove that can get them the penalty this time. Scrum is set. Holding strong. There it is, that big push from the Brumbies. They've got themselves the penalty advantage. They're using their back line. Tom Wright pops it up to Corey Toole. One more out to Muirhead, who almost hesitated there to be able to score it, but he does go over. And the Brumbies now with 7.5 minutes left take the lead. So they're just going back and forth at the moment here. I just said Andy Muirhead. It was not easy to be able to do what he just did. Step across inwards. Take that little bit of a risk. And great try, says David the Modern GG, says to Wavy. Although still plenty of time left on the clock, we should mention. There could be another late tail in the tape. Like they said, 15 players for the Brumbies, all heavily involved in there, bro, I swear. Says PSG. So yeah, this is going to be a tough kick for the Brumbies, but they will definitely want to get it over with Jack Debrezini. And this kick going over would determine whether or not the Highlanders need 3 to draw. It's straight down the middle. At 27 points to 22, the Highlanders in the next 6.5 minutes are going to need a try to walk away with the victory, but it would certainly be a tough one. I mentioned that I thought both sides were going to get over 25 points. So if the Highlanders score, that will be the case. And a great conversion. I believe the prediction as well was 27-29. And Glenn Woods has just said it's on. It certainly is. 6 minutes remaining. Like I said, we haven't gone to Golden Point as of yet, but there is a first time for everything, and that would certainly, or at least this one would be a game that is worthy of a Golden Point entry. Oh, Debrezini hurts himself kicking the ball. That is massive. And now, Highlanders, they are sitting with a man advantage just for now until Debrezini can get himself back up to his feet. Highlanders won't win plus 1,000. Says 2 Wavy. Brumbies minus 3,000. Though, that's not over yet. Yeah, Highlanders are $9 here in New Zealand, and that ball's going to be lost. It means that it will be the line out now for the Brumbies. And if they are to get themselves a penalty somewhere along the lines here, they will take the 3, I would assume. But then who will kick it if Debrezini has hurt himself? It's getting real interesting now. says Glenn Woods, and let's go G score. See there, Umanga Jensen. He's made his way from the field, and that is going to be for Tenuelu Talia. Amazing, not many people know them. Says Ruth. 40 metres out, they've been told to use it once. Highlanders have to stay disciplined. Someone's boots come off. By the looks of it, it is one of the Brumbies players. Henry Bell told to get out of that one. Still moving forward. The Highlanders cannot change their bind. The Brumbies just going to keep on trying to inch this one. Are they really going to go for a rolling ball for 30 metres? No, they've decided now to use it. Goes off to Ollie Satsford. Now back across to the left, Lena Cattell. Tackled by Tenuelu Talia. Really thought the Landers could do it. It's not going to happen, says Do Wavy. It still can, as long as the Brumbies don't get themselves a penalty somewhere here. Jack Debrezini goes across to Ollie Satsford out wide. Muirhead shaped to kick. It will be tackled backwards by Mitchell Dunshea. Another big contact on Will Stoddard. In fact, that was Kadrian Neville that time. Now off to Muirhead. Just hear the physicality that has taken place. Jimmy Hunting for the turnover. Every single breakdown, he wants it. But he hasn't been able to get it as of yet. This time, big chance for Tavatava Nawai. Oh, referee said you're off your feet now, but I think Tavatava Nawai is saying, how about when I wasn't and I had the ball? And how much time says Mars down at the moment? There are still 3 minutes remaining. Short ball to Luke Reimer. Tenuelu also looking for the turnover. Hi all, what's a golden point? I love listening. I know very little about rugby overall. So a golden point would be if they both are drawing at the end of the full-time siren. And all this, okay, we're not going to get to see it because Lena Cattell just scored the try. But pretty much it would be both sides go back out onto the field for a 10-minute period, I believe it is. And no matter what it is, if you get a point, you win. So whether that's a drop kick, a penalty, a try, you win straight away. But we will not get to see that as the Brumbies have just got themselves another one. Game over, shake me head, damn it, man. Says Mars down. Our boys won the sevens against this Aussie Hammy, says Spider Meg. I think it was 21-12, wasn't it, in that contest? And then see South Africa just beat Uruguay 40 points to 7. And bye, guys, I'm out. See, he choked the woke. What am I going to tell my wife? Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one, I would think. That will do it for the Brumbies, says William Presley. And okay, thank you, says Lonely Satellite. And at the moment, the way that it sits, the Highlanders aren't even going to receive a single point from this game either, which would keep them outside of that top 6. I was so close, says Glenn Woods, and that kick has gone over from Debrezini. Now only 100 seconds remaining. Sorry, guys, says Do Wavy. And Landers got the horse. I failed myself, says Too Wavy. Now, 90 seconds left. And that's going to be slapped back onto the side of the Highlanders. Knock on from the Brumbies. 12 points difference means that they can't even slot over a 3-pointer here either. Bugger those 1%ers. Letting the Landers down, says Gus. Average 38 for the Brumbies. Sounds like an HIA. It's about to take place too. No, the Landers, says Leon. Right, Dunshea will go off for the HIA. Only a minute remaining on the clock here. And Brumbies at home, just too hard to beat. Yeah, and I mentioned about it a little bit ago, about 15 minutes, how the Brumbies, they have close games when they're down at home and they manage to find a way to win. And it's the same here. They actually got quite a nice margin now in their favour. 34 points to the 22. Now going to the right-hand side, Caleb Tangi Tau. I'm not sure about that kicking choice. Oh, it sits up for him, though. They've got time. They've just scored with 30 seconds remaining. They need to take this extremely quickly. They might even consider a drop kick here. I believe they've still got time for the restart. That was really weird. Caleb Tangitao, I didn't know whether or not the kicking option was the best, but he's just made it look easy. Tangitao, you beauty, says Gus. And yeah, now he's given them a chance to somehow win this game. Great commentary over, says David the Moth. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. And the kick is missed away to the side. So they are now getting the bonus point here, the Highlanders. So that's something. And now they also have one last kick. Chance to try and take this ball back. The Brumbies have to kick it off to them. Brumbies done well to stand and take the pressure when it counted, says Leon. Caleb Tangitao scores his second try of the match. That might have just completely turned this match on its head. They kick off long there, the Brumbies. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. It is Tenuelu Talia. Goes across there, only a few metres out from their line. It is Faliafanga. Goes to Gilbert. Now chance here for Michael Loft. Ball in the hands of the Landers. Big chopping tackle. Pressure in the breakdown. Faliafanga goes across to Tenuelu Talia. Highlanders have big hearts, says John. They certainly do, and they move up to 22 metres out from the line now. Caleb Tangitao got the knee down. They have to release him here. And boom, what a game, says Ruth. Ron Sterling Bridge is over. You lose the next battle, says Rape. Now running forward is TK Howden, but isolated. Highlanders still inside of their 22. They are not giving up to Mothi Tavatava. Hasn't had a lot of position today. Is the game over? It actually is not. Jonanariki now running it forward. Finds the offload to Henry Bell. And the Highlanders move up to the halfway line. They already have the bonus point, but they are willing to risk it. What a take that is from the big man, Fabian Holland. Now to the right, Faliafanga goes to Tenuelu Talia. Out to Caleb Tangitao, who they again try and put into a rolling maul. And the ball is out. Tom Wright secures them. They have to release. To the halfway line now. 9 phases in for the Highlanders. One drop ball would end this half. Sam Gilbert passes it across to Sean Withy. They've still got some space to be able to work with. Nareki moves to 40 metres out. Bro, please don't tell me, or please tell me the Landers are going to do the unthinkable. At the moment, oh, was that a knock on? No, it's the advantage to the Highlanders. Sam Gilbert sitting 25 metres out. And they'll go back now for the penalty. And come on, Landers, unleash your inner brave heart. And come on, Landers, says Gus. In there too. This game, it was supposed to be over about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Yet these two sides are not giving up. Faliafanga. Now the chance to kick this one towards the sideline. Just to put it into stipulation again, ladies and gents. If the Highlanders score and convert, we go to golden point time. If they score and miss, the Brumbies win. If they don't score, the Brumbies win. So at the moment, the odds are against them. I feel like I'm being blue-balled right now, says Mars down. The problem is, if it's a draw, in some cases, they actually don't count that as a win for yourself. So they'd say full-time result was a draw, or at the end of the full 80 anyway. But now, thrown in, nicely claimed by the Highlanders. They're up to 20 metres out from the line. In fact, a little bit closer. Our big underdogs, baby, says too wavy. Loose ball, it's knocked on. And that will be the end of the game. And the Highlanders, they are defeated by 7. The Brumbies, 34 points to 27 victory. They both get some form of points. The Highlanders get 1. The Brumbies do get 4 from this matchup. Damn, just damn, says Tanner. I have regular money line. Says Mars down. But the Brumbies do win it. It was a close game. Bit of a last-minute thriller again. We've got Super Rugby tomorrow too that we are covering. Crusaders versus Moana Pacifica. Alongside that, I am, of course, going to be doing the Sevens in about 2 hours' time. That will be the game between South Africa and Australia. But I do appreciate you all being here for this matchup. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.